Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome to another episode. I am your host, W-I-Z-E, and I have a very special guest. She is known as the Queen of Courage. Welcome to the show, Sharon Rolph.
Thank you, Wise. Yes, Queen of Courage. That's just been a handle I've had for about a year now. But, since you like to talk about transformations and how we grow from one to the other, it fits in very well with your topic.
Yeah. Well, yes. My podcast is about helping people share their stories as well as my listeners help them grow and develop as well. So I'm just glad to have you on.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. I'm in the West Coast, north of Seattle, and it's a beautiful country, but we sure been getting a lot of rain and low clouds. But today the sun is out. So
no, we got the rain here. All right. So how did you get the name the Queen of Courage?
Well, I participated in a program last May with Forbes Riley. And Forbes is somebody who's done 150 infomercials back in the day when that was popular. She did a lot on health and fitness. And one of the things that drove her was her mom was always overweight and not fit. So that's kind of drove her to do the opposite. But in doing her class, she's the queen of pitch. And so she would ask each of us, what are we known for? Well, by that time, I had written my book wasn't quite out yet. Here's my book, Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment. And I make these little art blocks that I put in the book. And so I thought, well, since and I had a podcast called Fresh Courage. So, it just made sense that I'm the Queen of Courage.
That's cool. That's not. That's good. It's. Well, yeah, it fits. The Queen of Courage. Yeah. So
but
you've been. No,
I haven't always felt that way, Wise. The transition all my life, I'm 74 and I brag about it, but all through my career, but especially with my family, I felt invisible. I guess it's because I was so different than everybody else in my family. And I picked up on this phrase that somebody says, well, some people are outstanding in their field. And outstanding in their field. I grew up on a farm, so that makes sense to me. But it was after I retired that I was in class for becoming a life coach. And I kind of came back from lunch and slapped the table and stomped my foot and said, it's not okay to be invisible. Where did that come from? I mean, I surprised myself. And that's what started the journey towards being the Queen of Courage. And what we've been through the last 4 or 5 years, we need lots more courage in this world. And I've realized that there's kind of a spiritual element to it. Another couple words that I like a lot is possibilities and curiosity. And they also have an element kind of taking a leap of faith into something unknown. And to me, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, okay, so you said you started your coaching career after you retired. So where did you retire from?
Well, I retired from I was at GTE, the phone company, for 19 years, and they had transferred me to Tampa, Florida, where I didn't know anybody other than a few people from my area that had transferred down there. I saw once in a while, but then I moved myself to Dallas, Texas, and wound up delivering mail for 3 years down there, plus a bunch of other things. But I have a master's in behavioral science, so that got me in the door at Boeing when I got back to Washington. And I have always thought, that there was a nugget of gold inside everybody. And I was always kind of curious as to how to bring that out of them or help them see, their potential. And so empowering people at Boeing was kind of an uphill battle then, because all the old farts just wanted to blame somebody. As the new people were coming in, when I retired, I was starting to hear a fresh breath of air, because a lot of the college students had done work in teams and creating synergy and collaboration. And that was not in the people that were getting ready to retire. So, there's a lot of things that we have to unlearn. What have you had to unlearn?
Oh man, a lot. It's just the way we're programmed now, just the way people are programmed now, that they have to go to school, go to work, retire. And now that's really not the case nowadays, especially with the benefits and all this stuff that jobs are no longer offering. Like back in the days, probably when my mom and when I was growing up, people had pensions, people worked at jobs for many, many years and then retired. And nowadays,
get that gold watch,
yeah, that's what it would be. You would retire and get that gold watch or whatever. And nowadays, a lot of jobs they barely offer insurance. And if they do offer insurance, you're paying an arm and a leg for it. There's not really much benefits, as far as some companies might offer a 401k or a Roth IRA, whatever. But it's completely different now, where the system has you programmed where you some people think they're going to retire at 67, but that's not the case. There's still people who are in the 70s. They still got to work because Social Security isn't enough for them.
Well, and so, yeah, when I was going, everybody had to fit into this, this one box, and you had to wear the right jeans and the right haircut and all that kind of stuff. And nowadays, anything goes, the green hair and men dressing up as women. It's no end to all this uniqueness, but I love that uniqueness. And so us boomers need to learn that our uniqueness is a wonderful thing, and we've probably stifled it a lot of our career. And I think that was a way for me.
So it was a way for you to really express yourself and let yourself be yourself, basically.
Yeah, the one event that kind of turned that for me, besides shocking myself with coming back from lunch, I took about 6 months, I guess, after I retired, I took this program out of the UK called Mental Strength. Mental strength. That sounds like a pretty good thing. So I watched it, and the guy said, when you're facing a challenging situation and you're kind of uptight and not sure you have what it takes and all this, he said, well, recall to mind a warm memory. Oh, that sounds good. So my story I'd like to tell was when I was in third grade and being a reader for the school Christmas program, and the other kids were up on the stage acting out stuff, and I was a reader, and I thought, nobody told me how to be a good reader, but I kind of paid attention. Okay, you need to speak up. Let's see. You need to be kind of talk slow enough so people understand you and loud enough that they hear you, and then look at your audience once in a while. So the payoff was when 2 or 3 people told me afterwards that I was their favorite teacher or speaker, reader. So that was my warm memory. And the example the instructor gave is that he's always wanted to fly an airplane, and he actually learned how to fly an airplane. So his warm memory was a picture of his son is sitting in the back seat of a plane that he was flying. Felt so wonderful to him, you know? So when you hold that warm memory for about 15 seconds, going and now facing forward, going into your situation that is so tense, the results will be way different because you're now coming from a place of centeredness and calm and anticipation of something good. Well, a couple weeks later, I thought, well, why just have one warm memory? Why don't I see how many I can list? And out of my list of 8 or 10, 12 things, half of them were in front of people. Had I been in the wrong career? I did do Dale Carnegie and Toastmasters, but that was, well, Dale Carnegie was sponsored by my company, but Toastmasters was all on my hour time. So that kind of cracked the door in my mind about maybe I'm supposed to be in front of people, and now's the time to do that, you know. So it's I've stepped into being a person of influence
Yeah,
after I retired.
I know what I know how you feel. Like I'm not trained in media. I'm not a professional media person. I have a regular job. Well, not really. It's not a regular job, but but I, I have a pretty good career. I make pretty good money, but I found my passion in doing the podcast. I found what I love to do, and to be able to help people share their message and get their story out there, as well as share my story. It's this has been therapeutic for me. This has been able for me to express myself and be able to find my purpose. And my purpose is to be out here and help people and share their message and just basically create positive content so that to combat all the negative stuff that's been going on the past few years. And so when I really decided that I was going to really do the podcast, I switched the format. It was at first it was me ranting about work and all politics and all that, and I wasn't enjoying it. And when I switched it to conversations, to having conversations with guests, that's when it really took off, and people started really resonating with it and started tuning in and listening. People started sending me messages talking about this episode helped them. They were on the fence on starting a business or whatever, and it helped them decide to take that leap. And I encourage anyone, if there's something that you truly want to do, don't be afraid. Go out there and do it. If it's like that's why I named it Stuck in My Mind, because I had been wanting to do the podcast for over a year, and I had the equipment and everything, and I was just procrastinating. I would just make up excuses. I would tell myself, "Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I don't sound good. Why would anybody listen to me? I suck." And so I didn't do it. And when I finally decided to kick in the door and punch fear in the face and press record, like this big weight was lifted off me. And now I just talk. I just love to talk. I've probably recorded over 300 episodes, and I've only released 150 of them right now as far as my audio podcast, 145 on the audio, and then like 30 something video. And so I have so much audio files that I'm gonna start batching them out. But that's because I was just last year I went crazy. I was probably recording 2, 3 episodes a day. Yeah, I went nuts. There was one day I recorded 4 episodes. There was weeks in that I probably record 6, 7 episodes in a week. And so it's just the people that, like, when I first started, nobody wanted to do the show because I was just starting, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have enough followers or listeners or whatever," so they didn't want to waste their time. But then eventually, no's became yes. People started coming on the show. It started growing. Um, People started sending me message about, "Hey, I would love to be a guest on your show. I heard a couple of episodes. I think I'll be a great fit." And I was like, "All right, awesome, dope. Come on, come and do it." And so for me, it's just been amazing that I get to do something I love to do, and I get to meet some amazing people and network and grow. But just the fact that if one person can take anything from any of my episodes, then I did what I'm supposed to do.
Right. And what the point about that for me wise is that those messages that we get in our mind or in our gut or our spirit, new ideas and new breakthroughs or possibilities don't often happen until you do action on the one you've already been given. That intuition, those messages are kind of waiting for you to take the next step. Yeah, it took you a year to do it, but bravo, because now you found some joy you never knew was out there for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't know I would love it this much. I didn't know I would. This would be my passion, and I didn't. Like, it's funny because my wife, I was a big gamer, and I would spend hours upon hours playing video games. And when I started podcasting, I kind of like abandoned my PlayStation 4. So the wife one day goes, "Yo, I really know you're serious about this because you just completely neglected your video games." She's like, "I know this is something you're really passionate about and serious about because it's just collecting dust." My like, and like I said, I would spend hours playing video games, but now I spend more time recording and editing and building my brand and just developing skills. Like, prior to this, I didn't know anything about video editing, audio editing, programs, any of that. And I started teaching myself. I YouTube most of the stuff that I learned, and started developing these skills that my podcast might not be monetized, but I monetized myself. I started using these skills and applying them and selling these services. And so it's like, yes, my podcast isn't monetized, but the skills that I've obtained from doing the podcast has benefited me.
No one can take that from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, it's been a great ride. I've been loving it, and I'm looking forward to many more years of doing this. I've actually is funny because, like I said, I'm not a radio person. I'm not a media person, but this has opened up so many doors for me. Like, I have a friend of mine. He has a sports talk show, and he asked me to co-host with him. So now Mondays, when on my days off from work, I co-host a show with him. And if I ever get out of work early during the rest of the Thursday, Tuesday through Friday, then I'll co-host it on the show. And it just brought me back to me when I was growing up, listening to Marv Albert and watching Sports Center and watching all these programs, and to be able to actually talk sports and because I love sports. I'm like, growing up, when I used to go to school, I stop at the bodega and pick me up the local paper, and the first part I would go to was the back of the paper was the sports section. And so when he gave me the opportunity to speak sports, it was like, wow, this is something. This is another avenue that I didn't know I could do. So it's just been great. I'm blessed to be able to do this. I'm actually going to Podfest this year.
next
Yes.
week.
Next week I will be in Podfest. Yes. So I'm excited.
Wow. Wow. Well, the thing that kind of what I do goes hand in hand with what you've been learning, kind of, in that, first of all, let me say, when you have purpose, know what your purpose is. You have better health, you live longer, you have more engagement in life, you learn twice as much. And let's see, you're usually wiser, wealthier, and have more leadership. Did you know that? That's just a recent a survey that was taken, research.
That's good.
So I'm starting to be on this bandwagon about everybody needs to know where their joy is, because we don't have much of it anymore.
No.
And it usually, instead of coming from out there, it comes from in here.
And that's what people fail to realize is they think the material stuff out there can make them happy, and that's not the case. It's like look at these celebrities that have taken their lives, and you would think that, wow, why would they do that? They have all this money, they have all this prestige, they have all this stuff,
Glamour.
but they're not happy.
Oh,
But they're
glamour.
not. Yeah, but they're not truly happy.
Here's my glamour. Yeah, because even Miss America, I mean, Miss USA, oops, took her life just
Yes.
2, 3, 4 months ago. I heard a little bit of a interview from her mom recently, and it's like she didn't let the love in. So that could have been a little bit different deal, but mental strength is what we all need. Nobody's separate from needing mental strength. And when you pat yourself on the back, that's a good thing. So anyway, what I teach people is closely related to purpose. If that purpose is all you want, that's fine. My little book here, Fresh Courage in Retirement, is baby steps to help you work through discovering it on yourself, DIY purpose. But then, because I know some people learn by reading, some people learn by hearing, like I have a lot of links to to movies and YouTube, maybe not so much YouTube, but then some people kind of want to do it together. And what I do is take it beyond that. Once you've done your purpose and you still think there's something I'm not sure I love myself as much as I could or should, is to learn your essence statement. And it's incredible what people are finding out about. There's good things in me that I can bring to the world. And when I come from what's inside of me, it's fulfilling because it's my unique approach to electronics or radio or dancing or debating. It's like it's the unique flavor of Sharon and marching band even. So to fall in love with yourself is, over the years, I bet you've heard the message about, don't get big-headed or don't, they'll get a bit. Well, that's exactly what you should have about who you are, because then that gives you confidence. I keep imagining somebody going in after they've learned their essence, going into a job interview and expressing so authentically what their strengths are without the least bit of braggadocious. They just know that they know that they know this is who I am on a daily basis, right?
Yeah. And it takes work to get there. It takes a lot of work.
Courage.
It takes work. And I started years ago on my path to self-discovery and self-development and everything. And then I've had obstacles come and derail that and set me down a different path. And I was able to basically overcome the obstacles and overcome the tragedies and everything that happened in my life to really change it and get back on that path and get back to reading and listening and taking courses. I took a few coaching courses, not because I felt like I wanted to go into that field, but I felt it helped me as an interviewer and as a podcaster to make me a better podcaster. And so I've taken courses, I've gotten certified, and it was fun doing the courses, and it was fun learning the things that I learned and being able to apply them to the podcast and even being able to apply them to everyday life. Because while taking the courses, started applying the things I was learning, and so it's helped me develop. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing. I'm far from perfect, but I'm happy. I'm doing what I love to do. I have a wonderful wife who supports me. I have a great family, and I can't be this. Like I could complain about certain things, but it doesn't do me anything. It doesn't gain me anything. I rather just appreciate the things that I do have and appreciate the positive things that are going on in my life than focus on the negative.
Yeah, the big difference, big, huge difference wise for where you were as a gamer, I would call that drifting. You weren't doing your own thinking. You weren't planning your life. You were going with the flow and, probably showing up at a job. But the book, Outwitting the Devil, talks a lot about how 98% of the people in the world are drifters. Is that you? Drifters fall into following the crowd. And, they probably start out being, oh, why don't you try that? That might be fun. Well, yeah, it might be fun for 20 minutes a day instead of 20 hours a week. But doing your own thinking is the big difference between the drifter and the person who's got control of their life. Yeah. And you're not going to have much joy as a drifter. Oh, yeah, you might go to a concert or comedian show or something and laugh for a couple hours, but does that change your life?
No, it doesn't. No. So no, it's been great to be able to do it, to do the podcast, and to just speak with the people that I've spoken with, because I've had some great guests on. They've shared some great stories. They shared some great nuggets, and so it's a lot. Like at first, I felt kind of I said I was being selfish because I felt like I was interviewing the people for my own needs.
Sure. Yeah.
And a guest pointed out to me, and they said, no, that's self-love. That's you wanting to grow and develop. Mm-hmm. So no, there's nothing selfish about you wanting to learn. There's nothing selfish about you wanting to grow. So when I really realized that, like, okay, I shouldn't be ashamed that I'm interviewing all these people and getting all this knowledge and getting all the stuff that they're sharing with me. It's actually me growing and developing, and I should be proud of that.
And that makes you a better husband, a better father, a better son.
Yeah.
A better community, neighbor, whatever.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. It helps.
So have you ever felt invisible?
Yes. But that, again, that was by my own doing. That was me. Okay, so I was widowed at 31.
Right.
And then this happened in 2008. 2009, I reunite with my father after 25 years of not seeing each other. I go see him Father's Day weekend of 2009. I get there Friday night. We make amends. I forgive him and everything. Saturday morning, he wakes up, has a hearty breakfast, is planning a big dinner. He lays down for a nap, doesn't wake up. And so, and then it's just one tragedy after another after another. I'm serious. It was probably within 5 years, I've lost two brothers, my father, my uncle, my wife, my aunt, and two cousins, all in this time span. And these were people that had a big impact on my life. And so I was angry. I was angry. I was why
Lost.
me? Yeah, I was lost. I was why me? Why is this happening to me? And one day I woke up and was like, I need help. I need to speak to someone. I need to go seek therapy. I need to get help and get over and help myself get out of this because I'm angry and upset over something I have no control over.
Exactly.
And so by me just angry at the world, it didn't help. It just kept me there stuck. And so when I finally decided to seek the help that I needed and release the anger and realize like, bro, you didn't have control. These are things you couldn't control. Don't beat yourself up. Don't head down that path anymore. Do what's right. And now it's like, especially in where I'm from, it's not cool for you to go seek help. It's not a cool thing. It's a stigmatism towards it. They're like, you're supposed to be a man, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be able to deal with all these things. But no, we're human. We're human. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have issues, we have things that break us. And to be able to speak to someone and let that out and express the stuff that I was going through, it's helped me. It's really helped me and got me back onto the path. I'm back to reading. I'm back to again doing the courses and going and just wanting to be a better person.
Pat yourself on the back.
I always
Well, and I've been so tickled the last 2-3 weeks. I've heard at least 3 or 4 comments on, I think mostly LinkedIn, but some on Facebook about people who were practicing self-care. And that is such an important part of mental strength.
self-talk is very important. Like watch what you say. Like people need to watch what they say to themselves. It doesn't matter what other people say. It's what you say to yourself. It's the words that you say to yourself that really affect you. So if you are one of those people that go like, "Oh, I'm a big stupid idiot," or "I'm this, I'm that," or "I'm never going to be able to accomplish that," you're never going to be able to do it.
Yeah. What shut up that critical voice in my head here about 3 years ago was, I'm doing the best I can. So it's like, shh, go away. I'm doing my best, or that's in all honesty, I was doing the best at the moment with the information I had.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes a big difference of what you're saying to yourself. I am doing the best I can.
Yeah. Well, Sharon, this has been great. I had a great time talking to you. This is the part of the show where you get to plug away, let everybody know where they can find you, where they can get your book at, everything.
Okay. Well, I've started putting a little SharonRolph.com is my new website, and I guess I left it over across the room. My book is Fresh Courage in Retirement. Now, the examples I give are for boomers, basically, but it applies to anybody. Be curious and see how would this apply to a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old. But when things are done in a artistic kind of way, I actually have colored pictures and adult picture book throughout. It actually processes in our brain a little bit differently when it's included with beauty. So let's see. I have, besides SharonRolph.com, I am Queen of Courage on Instagram. I've done 125 2-3 minute videos there that you can call on. And listen to, I make these little art blocks. Worry is a misuse of your imagination. Oh, yes. That book, Outwitting the Devil, talks about the 8 or 9 major fears, and we've been experiencing all of them lately.
It's fun. It's crazy because, right, I'm big into quotes and everything, and I bought my sister this machine so she could print on T-shirts and hats and canvas and everything, and I had her print me these up.
Oh, okay.
And it says words of wisdom. That's what was wow. And
cool.
And it's just, so I got a bunch of them on my wall. So yeah.
This is hard. This is where you need a leap of faith, because you don't usually trust your heart, but your feet may know better where to go. Cherish forever what makes you unique. That's really a key of what I do.
Can people purchase these?
Yes, I have some out on Etsy, and my store is called Quilted Petunia. I have a lot more that's not on Etsy. So if you see one that, I'd like to have this in green instead of aqua, or purple or something, I may have it in purple. I just haven't put them all on Etsy. I'm on YouTube. Most of my podcasts that were done with video are on YouTube, and my 2-minute little videos on Queen of Courage are probably out there too. So, seniors who socialize are happier. That kind of speaks to the isolation that we've all been through.
Yes.
But I want to be an international speaker. My dream wise is to see billboards around the country that says, Boomers, what are you doing to come alongside your favorite charity or foundation? Boomers need to have more to be engaged with. It's an untapped potential, a resource for our neighborhoods. And I want to make a difference with getting couch potatoes engaged.
Yes, that sounds like a great plan.
Thank you for having me today. This has been delightful, and I'm impressed of how we've been able to go back and forth with our experiences and telling our story.
And that's why I do my podcast, and it's always, I just feel like I would rather my guests just be themselves, so I'm just myself. And people tend to pick up on that, and it just flows naturally. People will be like, I'm easy to talk to, and it's because I'm just me. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm just always myself. I can't explain. I just, when it comes, like, I was raised by my mom and my sister, and she's always instilled in me that the way you treat others is the way they're going to treat you. And so that's how I go. Is so I treat everyone with the utmost respect, and I try to be friends with, not everybody. I just try to be me. I don't be nothing else more. I don't be nothing more but myself.
Well, it's kind of weird that I have always loved reading stories of people who have had near-death experiences, people who have experienced life beyond where we are today. And what's kind of curious about their message that they bring back to us, almost all of them go along with some version of this. You are infinitely worthy. You are infinitely precious. You've always been enough. You will always be enough. There's no place you don't belong, Wise. You are lovable. You are loved. You are love.
I go to sleep listening to affirmations every night, and it makes a difference. I wake up much more peaceful, much more relaxed to get my day going, and I notice things. I've noticed the way I do certain things now, and it's just little by little to reprogram myself, because that's what basically I'm doing, is reprogramming myself from where I was to where I'm at, and every day I'm learning some new programs. That's how I look at it.
We're all getting better day by day.
Yes. But Sharon, this has been great, but don't leave just yet. We're going to talk a little bit after my shout outs and after we go off the air, but it has been great having you on.
Thank you so much. It has been great.
All right, so now it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J, love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina, love you, baby. Big shout out to our guest, Sharon Rolph, for coming through and sharing her love and her knowledge. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at @wise_b_blunt, Instagram at @wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.